We would now like to invite our guest of honor, Mr. Chuan-Jin, Speaker of Parliament, to address us. Sir, please.
There's a first time for everything. I've never worn a robe before, so it's kind of useful because the next time I sit in Parliament, I need to wear my own robe as well. Not quite as colourful, but thank you very much for inviting me here. Mr. Peter Seah, Chairman of LaSalle, Professor Steve Dixon, President of LaSalle, parents, ladies and gentlemen, and the graduating class of 2017. Congratulations. I can double confirm what Professor Steve Dixon said. I'm tremendously proud of all of you. I'm very happy to hear that there are over 850 of you here today receiving your diplomas and degrees. And I know that the past few years have been a truly memorable journey for all of you. And many of you have chosen a path less traveled to make it to this point. I commend you, I think, for your perseverance, your vision as artists, and the role that you play and you will be playing in our society. It's especially meaningful for me to preside over this convocation. For myself, as a hobby, photography is one of the few remaining hobbies that I have time for, and I can sort of relate to the passion for the arts and understand the lessons that it teaches us. I guess from my perspective, trying to take pictures, I realize that it's really about capturing a specific moment, the magic of that moment, and we know that moments are fleeting, which is why it makes it special. And while we congratulate you today on making it past this milestone in life, I would like you to also remember this moment that you have today. That is special for you to savor this moment, but it also makes it meaningful because you're spending it with friends that you've made along the way, and especially your families who have been supporting you, not just in your journey here, but throughout your life. The economy that you graduate into has changed dramatically from the job markets of yesteryear, and it will continue to change. But what is quite clear is that even as it changes, certainly in the art scene, it is blooming, and there are many opportunities that affords you, not just here in Singapore, but in the region and beyond. One graduate here today, for example, who appreciates this change is Miss Elaine. She retired from her career in IT to immerse herself in the arts. She has been a volunteer museum guide since 1998 and previously served as president of Friends of the Museums, the first Singaporean to fill that role. Her passion for lifelong learning and love for the arts has led her to graduate today with an MA in Asian Art Histories. Congratulations. So the opportunities are here, I think, not just for the young, but for many of us who, in our lifetime, will be looking at different changes in our professions and in different ways to pursue our passion. But perhaps the greatest thing about the arts is really its power for social change, the ability to transform lives, to touch people, and to really make a difference. In 2015, the Ministry of Social and Family Development launched Enabling Village, Singapore's first community space that's dedicated to integrating people with disabilities in society. I was very happy to find out that one of your alumni, Isabel Lim, she held her first solo exhibition there shortly after she graduated with a diploma in fine arts last September. Isabel is deaf and was born with Naga syndrome, which is a rare condition which affects the development of the face, arms, and hands. But through her art, Isabel is able to express herself and is now in demand as a photographer. Art has the potential to make a positive impact in our community. I'm pleased to know that Elisa Lim, Athrisha Liao, and Caroline Justin, graduates from the School of Fashion, have been making waves with their inclusive fashion collection, the first of its kind in the region to cater to wheelchair users. So special features in the gowns include breathable natural fibers for the wearers who are seated, magnets instead of buttons for easier fastening, and zips that are sewn upside down for easier use. To ensure their designs were truly inclusive and functional, the team worked with groups such as the Cerebral Palsy Alliance Singapore, Muscular Dystrophy Association Singapore, Society for the Physically Disabled, and SG Enable. I understand their collection has been successful and have received bulk orders from several organizations. The team now has plans to turn their brand, Will and Well, into a full-fledged platform for inclusivity. Congratulations to Liza, Athresha, and Caroline. This convocation also marks the 10th batch of graduating students from LaSalle's MA Art Therapy program. To date, 128 art therapists have graduated from the program. Students have provided over 95,000 hours of clinical art therapy services in places including hospitals, hospices, family service centers, and disability service centers. One outstanding alumna is Esther Ng, a psychotherapist and founder of the Coalition Against Bullying for Children and Youth. And she received the Singapore Woman Award in 2009 in recognition of her anti-bullying efforts and advocacy for children and youth. Another is Mrs. Lawrence Vanderbilt, founder of the Red Pencil, a humanitarian organization that brings art therapy to disaster-stricken areas such as Fukushima in Japan. To the 10th batch of LaSalle art therapists, you embody the good that art can do for the community, and you can be a force for social change. And my warmest congratulations to you all. Well done. Just as in the words themselves, looking after our nation is very much a community role for us to look after our people. SG Cares, something that I'm quite passionate about, really is about a movement in the way that SG Secure tries to create in us a consciousness about security and our well-being. SG Cares is really a national movement to mobilize everyone to come together to really build a caring and inclusive society. It sounds big as an idea, but really, as you break it down into bite-sized chunks, there are things that each of us can do to really begin to build that kind of society. After all, society is made up of individuals. If individuals begin to change, if individuals begin to effect change, cumulatively, surely, society begins to change. And we can build a better society and a better Singapore. The very work that these LaSalle graduates have done so far has exactly achieved the kind of impact that we can hope for, and may it long continue, and I hope the impact can cascade throughout society. And the skills that you have developed can indeed contribute to making Singapore a more caring and inclusive society for all. Let me just say a few words to all the parents and families here today. I too am a parent. My daughter just embarked on a university journey. I can tell you it's very stressful as a parent. But still, I look forward to this day, a day which I think many of the parents and families who are here, and I'm sure I can understand what you might be feeling now. The sense of pride that you have, the sense of happiness, and the whole world really is before your children. I think we're here today because we understand that no path that our child takes in life can be done without support from home. So thank you all for believing, for supporting, for celebrating their achievements, and simply to love them as best as you can. And it is very important for all of us, even as they embark on the next phase of the journey, to look beyond the paper chase. I think our lives can only be determined by ourselves, not by society, not by others. We need to remember that. There are always a lot of societal pressures. We face it. But ultimately, our sense of fulfillment, our sense of purpose, our sense of happiness must surely come from within. So we do need to look at things to measure us against from our own perspective. Values, strength of character, the way you treat others, the way you care for others, the way you respect others. All these things have a tremendous amount of value in terms of determining who we are. And recognizing that every one of us have our own niche and our own unique ways to contribute to society, and it's important for us to remember these things, even as we embark on a profession where we can contribute in different ways. It is very heartening to also see that for some families, arts run in the blood. We have siblings. I understand Amanda and Nicholas Chi here today, for example. They are graduating with BA Honours, Animation Arts, specializing in 2D and 3D animation, respectively. And it is really great to see a whole family coming together to do this. And I wish you all the very best. Then there are those of you who might come from different backgrounds. And perhaps we may be uncertain about what the future holds. But we know the benefits of the arts, the impact that it has on society. Arts education is growing and the arts scene is flourishing. Besides being well equipped to face challenges head on, many arts graduates do forge rewarding and fulfilling careers. Society really needs a rich and diverse talent pool to thrive, and that means that we need creative minds as much as any other profession. Which brings us to the question, what is really the long-term goal of education? I would say that it's not simply to settle for any job, but to find meaning and purpose in what you do every single day. As parents, I'm sure this is what you want for your children at the end of the day, that they are happy. In closing, let me share some personal thoughts that you might want to consider. Firstly, I think it's important for us to thank our teachers. Over the past years, they've done much more than merely impart their knowledge and skills. They've been your mentors, your colleagues as fellow artists, and in some cases, friends for life. So do keep in touch with them and your alma mater. It's important to remember the people who have touched our lives and who have made a difference. Little things, it may seem, but by sending an email, keeping in touch, calling them, extending our thanks, you'll be surprised at how much a difference this can make to individuals. It encourages them to keep on doing the right thing and to continue making a difference to many, many more students in the years to come. Secondly, I think it's important for us to also be patient. I know we live in a society where everything is instantaneous, instant gratification. We may not always have the patience to read through an article, or when we click a button, if you need to serve beyond a couple of clicks, we get bored very quickly. But I think it's important for us to realize that our journey in life is a long one. We have many aspirations, but it is a long journey. So we need to pace ourselves even as we run this race. And as mentioned earlier, success comes in many, many forms. And it doesn't come overnight. Hard work, diligence, qualities like this continue to remain important. Success doesn't just come because we're talented. Success comes also because we work hard. And we must be prepared to put in time, energy, effort, dedication. But I would say this. Today, I think it's very common for us to talk about us living only once, pursuing your passion. And I think it's important to do that. And many of you have pursued your passion. But I offer you another thought. Because life doesn't always turn out exactly as we wish. So perhaps pathways may unfold which is unexpected. Journeys might turn out to be a bit different than we envisage presently. But rather than just pursuing passion, perhaps something to think about is in whatever we do, be passionate. Learn, grow, develop an expertise, be good at it as best as you can, and make a difference, however big or small, to the people around you. And you'll be surprised. The journey may not have turned out exactly as you wish, but it could turn out to be a lot more than you expected. And lastly, I think it's important for us to consider perhaps giving back to society. As St. Francis says, it's in giving that we receive. And if you believe that to be true, and I believe that to be true, there are very few activities that perhaps enriches us the way that giving and caring for others do. Some of you who are active on the social front, who are actively volunteering, I think you know what I mean. It may seem counterintuitive, but sometimes when we begin to look beyond self and we begin to look at others, that's where the change happens. We learn to be circumspect about our own lives, about our own expectations. As we learn to love and to be compassionate and to care for others, I think we ourselves begin to change. And I think the path towards happiness is a long one. There are many, many different journeys, but I would say that one way is really to give back, to care for others, and you'll be surprised. That makes a real big difference. And many of you can contribute through the skills that you acquired, the many programs you can participate in, and I look forward to all of you making that difference in our society. And in turn, ultimately making a difference to yourselves. You are all in a very unique position to help others express themselves and their emotions through art and to the many different forms. And I think without you, we would be poorer as a nation and as a people. You make a difference, and the world is waiting for you. So all the best and congratulations to the class of 2017. Thank you very much.